Hello? What's that?
Nothing. It's weather experiment.
Oh.
Great Scott!
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alrighty, what is up, my artists? We're here for the Thanksgiving Austin Artist Reviews special. Didn't have one of these last year, but I figured this year we could have one. Devin gave me the idea. Since we did Back to the Future on the live commentaries last year, because that's what I do every year for Thanksgiving, is watch Back to the Future, the trilogy. Why don't I do an Austin the Artist review on the trilogy of Back to the Future for Thanksgiving, because that is, I already watch the movies every year for Thanksgiving, so I might as well do a review on it this year. But this is a franchise I always go back to around Thanksgiving. I don't know necessarily why. It just feels right, I guess, to go back and watch Back to the Future, the trilogy, and basically just be immersed in the story and how good the movies are and everything pretty much like that. And I definitely enjoy going back to it every year. It's something that I look forward to every year around Thanksgiving. I'm excited to review them this time. And, well, without further ado, let's get into the reviews. Alright, Back to the Future 1, Part 1. This movie came out in 1985. It's I think it's probably, I don't think it's the best. I think I will talk about how I think 2 is my favorite in the next one, but I do really enjoy this one. I will rank these once we get done with it, but nonetheless, this movie started with all of Doc Brown's, who is played by Christopher Lloyd, obviously. His equipped like clocks and experiments that he has in his house, and Marty goes to visit, and basically Marty gets a call from Doc's phone, and it's Doc Brown, and basically he tells Marty at 1:15 a.m. to come by the mall area so they could do an experiment. And Marty's like, okay, well, where have you been? And he's like doing work, pretty much. Basically, Marty just goes with it, and he realizes that he's late for school, so he goes to school, and it's where we meet his girlfriend Jennifer. He's talking to Jennifer, and basically sitting there saying how he's going to go to this talent show with his band and everything. And he basically goes to the talent show. He fails, but he looks forward to a night that he's going to have with Jennifer the next night, where he's going to take her to the lake, but he doesn't tell his parents because of the fact that his parents are very uptight when it comes down to his mom Lorraine and his father George. That's when we get to him actually going back to his house and having dinner with his family. And basically, his mother Lorraine is very to herself and very, it seems like she's very unhappy with her marriage in a way, because George is very complacent with how his high school bully and now supervisor Biff is just walks all over him and is pretty much a dickhead to him. And he's very complacent, and he watches TV, doesn't really pay attention to his kids or his wife or anything like that. Also, the car that Marty planned on taking to be with Jennifer in got wrecked. So they cannot go in that car, and that's a whole thing. Then Marty falls asleep and wakes up around like 12:30ish a.m. and gets a call from Doc, and Doc is like, are you awake? Are you on your way, basically? And grab his camera from his house and every fucking thing. So Marty grabs the camera and basically goes over to the mall area where he was told to go, and basically Marty goes and films what he doesn't know at the time is the DeLorean, the way that Doc made time travel, basically. So, I'm trying to say that in a less awkward fucking way, but basically he films Doc doing this experiment on Doc's dog Einstein, where Einstein goes into the car and goes to the future, like 1 minute into the future, and Marty thinks that Einstein's just dead and done, but Doc has told him, no, Marty, he's went 1 minute, exactly 1 minute into the future, and I have created time travel, basically. And he tells him about the flux capacitor and the plutonium that he uses for the DeLorean, which is a problem because he stole that plutonium to get the gigawatts to create time travel. So basically, after we find out that Einstein comes back after the minute, basically terrorists come that he stole the plutonium from and shoot Doc and kill him right there on the spot. Now, Marty gets to the DeLorean and basically goes back to 1955, November 5th to be exact, because that is the date that Doc had in the DeLorean, because he was talking about how that's how he found out about, or not that he found out, that's how he came up with the idea of the flux capacitor to create time travel. So, basically, he's back in, Marty's in 1955, and he's in awe of what he's seen. He meets his dad from 1955, who's the same old, he's not standing up to Biff, he's kind of pretty fucking wimpy, if we're being completely honest with you. If I'm being completely honest with you. Fucking, I'm used to doing this shit with Devin. But, yeah, he's pretty wimpy and needs guidance, basically, from Marty. Now, Marty also meets his mom, but in a different way. He meets his mom by how his mom and his dad was supposed to fall in love. So basically, he gets hit by a car from his grandfather. Hits him with a car. He doesn't know if it's his grandfather yet. But he hits him with a car, and they take him inside to check on him and make sure he feels better and everything. And Lorraine falls deeply in love with Marty, which is fucked on so many levels if you think about it, but she doesn't really know why it's fucked. But still, it's fucked on many levels. So there's that, and basically that's when he finally meets up with young Doc Brown to tell him about all this shit. And young Doc Brown is hesitant at first, but he figures out after Marty tells him a story that only he would know that it's real, like he created time travel and everything. So basically they come up with this plan that on the day, the next Saturday at this point, there's a lightning bolt that's going to strike the clock tower. So that would be the only thing that in that time period that can create enough gigawatts to send Marty back to the future. The title. There we go. But basically Doc and Marty hatch a plan to do that next Saturday, but first they gotta figure out how to get Lorraine and George together, because since Lorraine is in love with Marty at this time, basically he needs to figure out a way to get Lorraine to be in love with George so he could exist. And basically that's what the plot is for the rest of the movie. Lorraine is head over heels for Marty, and Marty's trying to get George to ask Lorraine out. It's not working too well at first. It gets to the point where Lorraine asks Marty to the dance, which is the dance that Marty was trying to get George to ask Lorraine to, but it doesn't work out in a way. So then basically they go to the dance together, and Marty hatches a plan with George to... Marty's going to act like he's going to force himself on her, and George is going to save the day, and basically that be the way that they get together and all this shit. So while that's going on, Marty is also fighting with the fact that he wants to tell Doc about what happens to him in the future, about him dying. So he writes a letter because Doc strongly prohibits him from telling him anything about the future, basically saying that it could damage the space-time continuum and he shouldn't hear anything about it. So the plan doesn't go as planned, I should say, and Marty gets taken out. Basically, Lorraine actually wants to just legit fuck Marty at this point. She doesn't care if that's the thing. And basically, she kisses Marty, and she sees that it's wrong. She doesn't know how she sees that it's wrong, but she says it's like kissing her brother. So, less fuck shit, the better. But nonetheless, so Marty gets taken out of the car by Biff because Biff has been getting fucked on by Marty multiple times, and basically Biff and his gang of friends throw him in a trunk where the musicians for the dance are sitting in the car of that trunk, with the trunk that he's in. And basically they get him out of the trunk, but with one of the guitarists getting their hands sliced while getting them out of the trunk, which I don't even know how that really works, because the trunk, I don't think it would have sliced his hand. I'm not gonna... I really enjoyed the movie, so I'm not gonna fucking actually sit there and like nitpick it, of course. I've seen it multiple times in multiple years, so it's whatever. But nonetheless, so he gets out of there, but Biff is trying to force himself onto Lorraine because Biff has had this thing with Lorraine, and Lorraine has not wanted Biff whatsoever. And basically, George has his cue, and he finally makes his move, and he stands up to Biff and punches him square in the face, knocks him the fuck out on some fucking like Friday shit. Like it's giant ass goddamn punch. But once that happens, Lorraine and George get together and they go to dance. Marty has to take one of the guitars because of the guitar slicing his hand, and that's how he gets George and Lorraine to kiss, leading him to be conceived in the future. And then this is when we get to the end of the, like, not the end, like the climax of the movie, I should say, where Doc has everything set up for the lightning to strike, and basically something fucks up where he has to plug in the plug again so he can do it. And Marty's trying to tell Doc about the future, but Doc will not have it. And he rips up the letter and everything. And Marty goes into the DeLorean and gets ready while Doc is trying to fix this plug. That way he can go back to the future. While doing so, he unplugs the other part of the plug. So he plugs in the one part of the plug and then he zip lines down to plug in the other part of the plug. And basically after that, Marty gets back to the future and he goes 10 minutes before what Doc had put in so he could warn Doc about his death. And basically Doc gets shot again, but he read the letter, he taped it back up. I don't know how that works exactly, because taping a letter back up is not fucking easy. But he tapes it back up, and he read the letter, and he says, "What the hell? I might as well read it," basically. And he wears a bulletproof vest. So Doc is alive in the future. He goes back 30 years in the future, and then Marty goes to sleep for the night, wakes up, sees that everything's different. His mom and dad's happy. His brother and sister is happy. Biff is now waxing their cars. His mom and dad are very, really enjoy the fact that he's with Jennifer, and he doesn't need to hide it, really. And then, basically, at the end, he sees Jennifer, and then the setup for the next movie, Doc comes back 30 years in the future, and saying that Jennifer and Marty needs to come with him because their kids have messed something up big time, and they need to go back to the future and fix it. So, that was the first Back to the Future from 1985. This movie is one of those movies I can go back to all the fucking time. Even the next movie is another movie like that. These movies I go back to every year. So, this one is really influential in my fucking childhood and everything. I can't speak, so if you want to comment that I can't speak, that's fine. What the fuck ever. But I can't speak well. So, on that note, we will get to Back to the Future Part 2 right now. Alrighty, Back to the Future Part 2 from 1989. Now, this movie starts directly from the last scene of the last movie where Doc takes Jennifer and Marty to the future. And, this is the shortest movie, but it feels longer. It definitely feels longer. I don't know what it is, but it felt really, like, a lot longer. I enjoyed it. Yeah, this definitely is my favorite so far. Just going back to it again, this is my favorite so far. I enjoy this one. I enjoy the first one, but I enjoy this one a little bit more. But basically, the whole deal is Doc's trying to save Marty's and Jennifer's kid from basically going to jail because this gang led by Griff is that's a Biff fucking, like, I guess a Biff descendant, because that is Biff's grandson and all. But fucking basically all sorts of hijinks ensue, and Marty stops Griff and gets Griff and his gang fucking imprisoned. So that was the, like, short main plot, I guess. But Jennifer was also knocked out because she was knocked out kind of with this, like, Men in Black type sleep ray that Christopher Lloyd Doc has. And basically she wakes up and fucking sits there and gets taken to their house because they just think it's regular old Jennifer, even though she looks really fucking young. So I don't know why the cops would think, oh, this is just Jennifer. She looks like 30 years younger, but it's still, she could have got de-aged or something, but it's whatever. But basically, while that's going on, Marty has the bright idea to buy a sports almanac from, I think it was 1950 all the way to 2000, and basically that was a rich quick scheme kind of deal that he was trying to pull, due to the fact that he just wanted to fucking do that. So basically, once he does that and Doc warns him not to, he doesn't throw it in the trash. It was mainly he just puts it down into the trash like Doc does, and sits there. And while Biff, like the old man Biff, is like listening in, because he had noticed in the past of the flying DeLorean when they were back 30 years from the point that they are now. And basically, he recognizes the DeLorean and sees both Marty and Marty Jr. at the same time and thinks, oh, there's two Martys. That's weird. And then he sees the DeLorean and realizes, oh, fuck, they've time traveled. I don't know how he would come up to that conclusion, because this is Biff we're talking about. Maybe he just got smart, I guess, as the years went on. But basically, he listens into Doc and Marty, and he takes the sports almanac. And while they're going to get Jennifer to go back to the past, fucking Jennifer already is realized that fucking and seen that Marty in her life has not lived up to what she thought it was. It's honestly pretty fucked, but because it's that they're like Marty's out of a job and everything, and it's just fucking all over the goddamn place. But she passes out again, and Doc and Marty take her back in the DeLorean. But before that happens, fucking Biff takes the DeLorean out for a spin and gives the sports almanac to his past self from 1955, so that when Doc and Marty go back to the past is just all chaos and scrutiny and all this bullshit, because Biff has basically rigged himself to be rich, pretty much, and has married Lorraine and killed George. And Marty figures all this out, and he finally confronts Biff about it, and Biff tells him exactly how that he got rich and all this shit. And that there's a lot of references and past references to when it comes down to the first movie, but there's also a lot of references to the next movie that's going to come, because they filmed these back to back. They filmed this movie and the last movie back to back. I don't remember exactly why, but they did. But nonetheless, fucking once that was a whole thing, Marty and Doc go back to 1955 to grab the sports almanac, and all these hijinks ensue pretty much when it comes down to it. And eventually, with all the scrutiny and time paradoxes and all the shit that could have happened got foiled, because Marty and Doc basically made sure that it didn't fucking happen. The sports almanac is burned by Marty after thwarting Biff multiple times in this movie, because that was kind of the rest of the movie, just thwarting Biff and getting the sports almanac back, because that was basically it. It's a fun movie and I enjoy it, but it is a lot more formulaic, which is fine. I'm fine with formulaic when it comes to this movie, because I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a little bit more than the first movie, but I do see why some people are just like, oh, okay. But basically Marty burns the sports almanac, and they're about to go back to the future, and fucking lightning strikes the DeLorean, and Doc gets sent somewhere. Of course, Marty thinks he died, which I don't understand why he would think he died, due to the fact that he knows that he was in a time machine, and the fact that, you know, it's a DeLorean, and he just, if he would have died, it would have exploded the car and not, you know, transported it through time, because, you know, that makes more sense in this universe. But I digress. Basically, Marty's kind of looking in despair and everything, and then a car pulls up, and it's pouring down rain, and he gets a letter from this guy that was in the car, and basically the letter is from 70 years ago from Doc Brown, stating that he is alive and well in the year 1885, which that sets up our last movie of the trilogy, Back to the Future Part 3, where we're in 1885, and then Marty gets asked by the guy who gave him the letter. The guy asks him, "Is there anything I could do to help?" And Marty says, "There's only one man that can help me." And we get Doc Brown from the first movie from 1955. Marty goes back and tells him that he came back from the future and he needs Doc's help to figure out this whole situation. And that's where we get the "to be concluded" sign, and then we get some scenes from the next movie which look good, and I've seen it before. Obviously I've seen these movies lots of times, but I always was confused on why they even put scenes from the next movie. It's kind of like a trailer, I guess, mini trailer in the, I don't know, but the text says coming summer 1990, so just confirming that they filmed these back to back and everything. I do want to say that Crispin Glover did not reprise his role in the sequel. I will say I think it was like some type of contracting issues, if I remember, something like that. It was something where he didn't want to return, but yeah, besides that, this movie was really enjoyable. I enjoyed the second one a little bit more than the first one, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion again. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to Back to the Future Part 3 from 1990. Alrighty, Back to the Future Part 3. Great movie, perfect ending to what I think is the perfect trilogy of movies. Started off from the ending of the last movie where Marty goes to 1955 Doc after 1955 Doc takes Marty and puts him back in the future. The Marty from 1955 that was in the future, came back to 1955, is now asking for help because the Doc from 2015 that was in the future got struck by lightning in the DeLorean and got sent to fucking 1885. And basically, so Marty is sitting there and telling him about this letter, and the letter basically says not to go to 1885 or anything, and to just get the time machine, have 1955 Doc sit there and fix it, and then go back to 1985. But fucking Marty realizes, he sees a headstone of Doc's death, which is on September 7th of 1885, which is actually the day of my birthday. Fun fact, of course I wasn't born in 1885, but I was born in 2003 on September 7th. But, so that's always a cool coincidence when it comes to these movies. But, so Marty goes to 1885 to save Doc, and Doc is basically, he's there, he's a blacksmith, and he's having a good life, and he understands that he needs to go back to the future to save his life, pretty much. But then, on the headstone, it said, "From his beloved Clara," who is the love interest in this movie for Doc. And Doc's like, oh, I can't fall in love. That's scientifically impossible for a man like me. But then he actually meets her because she almost falls off a cliff while they're testing a way to get the DeLorean back to the future, because Marty, when he went back into, well, when he went to 1885, he fucked up the gas tank because of a bunch of Indians coming by his way, and then other countrymen and everything. And basically, the DeLorean's kind of fucked the gas gauges, and there's no gasoline and no gas stations until the 1900s. So they're kind of fucked on that front. So they sit there and they're trying to figure out multiple ways to do it, and they blow out the gas gauge with fucking alcohol, strong ass fucking alcohol. And yeah, so they have to do a train. Another thing that happened when Marty went to 1885 is he met his distant relative, his great grandfather, or no, just great grandfather, Seamus McFly, and his wife, Maggie McFly, along with his great grandfather, William McFly, who is a baby at this point. So there's that. And he's like a key point for a little bit in the story, so that's not William Seamus, but yeah, they're a key point in, like, maybe I would say about 10% of the movie. But we see Doc saving Clara, and Clara is like this teacher, basically, who's really into science, which makes Doc fall in love with her, and he's head over heels, like straight up head over heels. Doesn't know what to do. He walks her home with Marty, and they're still trying to figure out the whole train thing as well. But the next day, when they're trying to figure out the train thing, Clara sits there and goes to his blacksmith shop and gives him a telescope that was damaged with all the wreckage happening, almost falling to her death and dying and shit. So basically, Doc automatically agrees without pay to fix this telescope because he is head over heels for Clara. So he fixes it, and then they have a party for the clock, like the clock area and everything. Oh, another thing that happens, I forget. This movie is long, and then there's a lot of shit that happens. So even though I've watched this many times, it's stuff leaves my mind, and it comes back to me when I'm doing the review. The villain which they teased in fucking the last movie, Mad Dog Tannen, or Buford Tannen, the distant relative of Biff, is there, and he meets Marty, Marty is now Clint Eastwood in this. That's what he calls himself, because he couldn't call himself Marty McFly because there's already McFlys in the goddamn city. So he is Clint Eastwood, and he makes a ruckus and fucking basically fucks over Buford, and gets him on his bad. He's on Buford's bad side, basically. And he's the villain of the movie, main villain. He's actually the person that's going to end up shooting Doc for around $80. God, if that was a lot of money today. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money today. Damn. But basically, once they go to this party, another thing that happens is Doc dances with Clara, and then Mad Dog Tannen comes there, and he tries to shoot Doc because he's wants his $80. He said to watch his back before, and so Marty intervenes and sits there and challenges Mad Dog Buford Tannen to a duel, which isn't a good idea because Mad Dog Tannen or Buford Tannen, whatever you want to fucking call him, is pretty goddamn quick with the gun and everything, and everybody's telling him it's a bad idea and everything. But basically, after that, we get like a party scene. Then we see that Doc and Clara have embraced and are together and everything, and they're in love with each other. Then the very next scene, it's Sunday night, about to be Monday, and fucking Marty is like, Doc, you can't stay here, basically. You have to sit there and go back with me to save your life and everything. And Doc wants to stay here because of Clara. And basically they have a whole thing where Doc finally agrees to go, but he has to tell Clara the truth of why. And Clara doesn't believe him, so she basically says that he's lying and dumps him. Then we get to, after that scene, Doc is going to the bar and he's about to drink some alcohol, but he just holds it because he can't really handle alcohol and everything, I guess. So Marty is asleep at the time and doesn't realize it, but Doc is broken pretty much. Marty gets there and basically goes to the bar. He has to find him at the bar, and he sits there and basically tells Doc, hey, we gotta go. And Doc doesn't want to go. He doesn't really understand. Like, he's in a trance, I guess. He's in like a trance because Clara has made him so heartbroken. And when Marty finally snaps him out of it, he drinks the alcohol and he falls to the floor face first. He's out cold. Fucking then Mad Dog Tannen gets ready for his duel with, there's quick draw or duel with Marty, and Marty doesn't want to do it, and that's where we get the famous line, he's an asshole. I'll probably put it in the video. But yeah, so basically he tries to get Doc out of there through the back door because they wake Doc up, and it doesn't work out so well because Buford's cronies kind of see him and they take Doc hostage to where Marty has to sit there and do the duel. So he goes and does the duel, gets shot, but he has a metal plate on his chest on some Bret Hart and Goldberg shit, and he gets up and he beats the shit out of Tannen after disarming him. And basically after that, we also see that Clara is going on a train to leave the town, and she hears about Doc being so broken up and that he was actually telling the truth. So while Doc and Marty are going to the train to get Marty and Doc all the way out of there to 1985, fucking Clara is trying to find the train that they're at to tell Emmett how she feels and that she loves him just like he told her that he loved her. And she finally finds it, but it's when they get to like 60 miles per hour on the DeLorean and the time machine is about to leave. So Emmett, Doc, and Clara are in harm's way. They're about to fall off the train because they're trying to grab each other. But then Marty, with the hoverboard, throws the hoverboard to Doc, and he gets the hoverboard and gets Clara, and they go off into the sunset while Marty goes back to 1985. He sees everything is right, everything is as good as it was after the first movie's ending, and he goes and sees Jennifer and kisses her, wakes her up, and basically tells her, well, she kind of figures it out for herself about the time machine, that everything was real, it was not a dream, and everything. Oh, also the DeLorean completely gets destroyed by a train when Marty gets back. So there's that. No more DeLorean. Then they go and see the wreckage of the DeLorean, and we see that Doc, Clara, and Doc and Clara's kids, along with Einstein, are now in a time-traveling train, and they give Marty a gift and give them their best and just go off, pretty much. And that was the end of Back to the Future Part 3. We got a The End sign. And I think it's the perfect ending to a perfect trilogy. For the people who want to make this a remake or a fucking goddamn a fourth movie, I don't know why you would want to do that. It's perfectly fine the way it is, in my opinion. I will say, I think, because I did say I was going to rank these, I think I'm going to say that my favorite was Back to the Future Part 2. My second favorite was Back to the Future Part 1. And my third favorite was Back to the Future Part 3. This was my least favorite, but that does not halt it from being the perfect trilogy. I think all these movies are 5-star, like 5 out of 5s. Honestly, I enjoy these movies. I watch them every year. Like, I don't think, unless you have like genuine good talent, I do not think you can make a better trilogy than this, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, because I love these movies. They bring out so much nostalgia in me, and it's really great that I've gotten to watch them so many times. I've gotten to do a live commentary, the triple feature live commentary with Devin last year, and now that I'm reviewing these this year, it's really nice, and I'm glad I'm getting to share my love of these movies with all of you on my channel. It makes me feel happy inside. So, yeah, well, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in December for some more reviews, and of course my list, both of my lists will come out in December. Like every year, it's going to be a yearly thing, and we'll see what I think is the best movies of this year and the worst movies of this year, along with some Christmas stuff, and also some other stuff sprinkled in there in December. But on that note, thank you guys for watching, And we'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alrighty, happy Thanksgiving, my artists. Another year, another Thanksgiving review. This time, not of the Back to the Future movies, but of the Back to the Future TV series that I did not know about until last year. So, it was a Saturday morning cartoon. In the 90s. It premiered after fucking the last movie. So it looks like it's going to be something that is trying to capture like what happened after the movies, but this is my first experience watching these. So there's 26 episodes. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I am glad that it's another Back to the Future thing that I could watch, because I really love the franchise. Hopefully it's good and not terrible, not campy and shit. But on that note, you guys can go and sit there and be with me on my first experience with Back to the Future, the series. Let's go ahead and get to episode 1. Alrighty, season 1, episode 1 of Back to the Future, the series. This shit was cursed. Fucking, it starts off with fucking the intro, which is animated, which is fine. It's cursed, and we'll get to the cursed animation here in a minute. But legitimately, fucking, it starts off, Christopher Lloyd reprises his role in the live action portions of this episodes, and he has like a live action portion where he's sitting there and he's doing this experiment and explaining something that happened in the past that they did or whatever, which is going to be the basis of the episode. And he's talking about his kids and everything, and fucking then it switches to the animation, and it's so cursed. There's so many things. There's so many, like, people in this show that look like fucking, like, a Kyle type fucking build. Like, it's just so cursed. But, I mean, for the animation at the time, it was actually really good. But, I will say, this episode was about the Civil War, and about, like, relationship with brothers, basically. So both of Doc's kids are basically getting into an argument. One kid thinks Doc takes the side of the other. So he goes to the fucking back in time to the Civil War in the DeLorean, and they have to save him. That's basically the gist of the episode. It's not really much. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to say about these episodes, but honestly, this episode was so fucking cursed. Like, and then at the end, they had another live action segment with Christopher Lloyd, and then randomly, I wasn't expecting this. Bill Nye the Science Guy is going to show up apparently every episode because he's part of the live action segments. He like demonstrates how to create things with science, and it's so cursed. Like, oh my god, this show, it's good. I like it. They also have like a great message behind a lot of it, like, oh, go read stuff about the Civil War or stuff like that. Like, and they have good messages behind it, but it's so cursed. Oh, man. Holy shit. On that note, let's get to Season 1, Episode 2. It says it's called A Family Vacation. So, let's get to it. Alrighty, Season 1, Episode 2 of the Back to the Future series. We have this one called A Family Vacation. Fucking cursed. Every villain in this show, I feel like, is going to be Biff. So, that's the cursed thing. It's like the movies, every fucking descendant of Biff is just everywhere. So, that's fucking cursed. This was a medieval episode. They go back in time to the medieval times, like, in England. And, basically fucking, because Doc shorts out everything and freaks out because everybody else uses technology and everything. And Marty was barely in this episode. He had one of his descendants was in this episode, though. It was cursed, like fucking usual. It's just, the show is kind of like, it's okay, it's good, but it's weird. And obviously it's because it's that Saturday morning, like, kids show charm, I guess. I don't fucking know. But it just fucking, it's so cursed. It's just so cursed sometimes, man, because goddamn, like, what the fuck? Like, some of this shit, like, the Einstein design looks fucking cursed as hell. It doesn't even look like Einstein from the movie. Like, you can't even, like, it looks cursed as hell. The design on Clara doesn't look as great, but, like, this is her first episode that she's in. But, yeah, I don't know. It was just a curse fucking episode, and they have to do a whole duel and shit. And it's just like, oh my god. It's like, why? Especially them in the medieval clothes was cursed as fuck, too. The show is cool, but cursed, I guess. Like, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just, man. But let's get to the next episode. Episode 3, Forward to the Past. Alrighty, Season 1, Episode number 3 of the Back to the Future series. This episode was called Forward to the Past. Fucking, this episode was so cursed. It was about dinosaurs. It was about them going to the, like, to the dinosaur age, basically, like, Doc and his kids going to the dinosaur age. That was the only people that were in it. Marty was in it for like 2 fucking seconds, basically. It was weird, but nonetheless, fucking, it was so cursed because they had like a green screen of two, like, fucking dinosaur. Like, you could tell there's, like, some, like, old 1920s, like, Godzilla footage as, like, the dinosaurs. In the fucking live action segment with Doc Brown, with Christopher Lloyd. It was so cursed. And then they did do a really interesting idea where they stopped the dinosaurs' extinction, and they had dinosaurs evolve into what humans are now, or what they were at that time period. And they didn't go on it too long, but they had a Biff dinosaur. Don't you worry. They had to have a Biff dinosaur because Biff's in every fucking episode consistently. So, fucking, they go back, they fix what they already tried to fix, and then it's back to normal. Like, that's basically the end of the episode. And at the end of the episode, fucking Bill Nye helped Christopher Lloyd make a lemon battery. So, there was that. But the shit was just so fucking cursed. Like, mainly the curse parts are mainly the live action parts. There's some curse parts when it comes to the animation, but the live action parts are so fucking cursed because Bill Nye and Christopher Lloyd. It's it's great. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. But damn, it's cursed sometimes. But on that note, let's get to episode 4, Witchcraft. Alrighty, Back to the Future, the series, the animated series, season 1, episode number 4, Witchcraft. This episode was about fucking Doc and his family getting transported to the Salem witch trials in fucking 1692. So that was a whole thing. And then Marty going back to help him after having a fight with Jennifer. And when he goes to help him, he gets accused of being a witch and almost dies, pretty much. And there was another Biff. Of course there is. There's always another Tannen. But yeah, that was the basic gist of the episode. Bill Nye did a demonstration on water pressure. Honestly, like, even though the show is cursed and some of the designs are cursed, like there was this lady in here that looked so fucking ugly. Like, not in a way that, like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like it was just drawn so weird. It was some terrible design and on their part. But honestly, besides the cursedness, I really think this show has been really enjoyable so far. Like, I've had no problems with it. Usually I have problems most of the time with doing some of these, like, longer videos of ranking a series and everything, but this one's been pretty fun, honestly. So, which I assumed it would be pretty fun, but yeah, fucking, I am ready to get to episode 5, because we are getting close to halfway through the season 1. So, let's go ahead and get to episode 5 right about now. Alrighty, season 1, episode number 5 of Back to the Future, the series. This episode was called Swing Low, Sweet Chariot Race. also known as Roman Holiday. It was about fucking Fern and God damn it, I can't remember the other kid's name. I just usually call them Doc's kids, but I know one of them was fucking Fern. I don't know, my brain's kind of mush today. Fucking basically it's about them getting in trouble because they sat there and used a hologram thing that Doc made for burglars and shit to think that they're at home when they're not and everything, and they used it for a prank. And they got told off basically, and then pretty much like Marty and Doc go ahead and go to Greek, like ancient Greek in Rome, ancient Rome and the Greek era kind of deal. And basically the kids come with them and they use the hologram ray anyway, and it just does not go well because they immediately get up to hijinks. The kids are fucking captured. Doc gets captured. Marty has to face another Tannen and almost gets called chicken again, and doesn't like being called chicken, as we know. And you know, I will say a lot of this stuff from like the movies are like actually, you know, a lot of things that like TV shows that are based on movies, I feel like don't have that much love put into it, but I feel like this does, and that's the cool thing about it, because it's not like a fucking cash grab. It actually has Christopher Lloyd in the live action segments, Bill Nye appears, you know, just stuff like that. It's really cool and everything. But yeah, fucking has to face another Biff in a chariot race, and he has to lose so Biff can keep his whatever, and it doesn't affect the timeline. They end up losing. Doc and the kids get saved. All is well. And yeah, that was basically this fucking episode. Like, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed most of these episodes, or pretty much all of them, honestly. They've all been pretty inventive and fun, and just enjoyable to watch as a Back to the Future fan. So, yeah. I don't know, there also was this, like, Julius character, or whatever, that helped them and shit. But, yeah. Fucking... On that note, let's get to the next episode, episode number 6, Go Fly a Kite. Alrighty, Season 1, Episode number 6 of Back to the Future, the series. This episode was called Go Fly a Kite. It was about the invention of electricity that Ben Franklin invented and everything. And basically, Vern, one of Doc's sons, thinks he's adopted, and he thinks he's Ben Franklin's son. So he goes back in time to when electricity was invented and basically tries to live out his life with Ben Franklin. And Doc and Marty and fucking Einstein have to fucking go and get him back, basically. And it was pretty easy because they did pretty easily. And yeah, that was mainly it. Like, this just really wasn't too much. It was just like a short. It felt like a shorter episode. Like, honestly, even though it was the same length, it felt a lot shorter than the last couple. So, yeah, fucking, I don't know. It was all right though. It wasn't terrible. Ben Franklin had a gag where he was like trying to figure out the name of the rocking chair and everything because he invented the rocking chair, but that was like the only gag. Oh, they also had shots from the movie in this episode, which I was shocked that I didn't realize they were gonna have that. It kind of caught me off guard for a minute, but yeah, like they had just straight up shots from the movie, and I was just like, oh, okay. And Doc was talking about it at the start, and I was just like, oh, you could tell, like, at the time the fucking the quality, like, put down the fucking, like, the 4:3 aspect ratio was pretty rough, honestly, when it came down to it. But yeah, fucking, that was episode 6, Go Fly Kite. I don't really have too much to say after that. It was just like a whatever episode. But yeah, fucking, let's go ahead and get to episode 7, which looks like it's gonna have segments. It's called Time Waits for No Frogs in Einstein's Adventure. So it looks like it's gonna have segments. But yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, fucking, we are at Back to the Future, the series, Season 1, Episode 7, Time Waits for No Frogs, and Einstein's Adventure. Fucking, this was kind of like formatted, kind of like SpongeBob, because it was 2 11-minute segments in one episode. So that's fucking how it went. The first segment was about Marty and Doc trying to cure Marty's athlete's foot, but they have to go to the Amazon and find this frog. And basically, they are tracked down by conquistadors, and they also find the City of the Frogs, which is like an ancient city. Like, that's like, I don't even know. It was alright. Like, the whole gist of it was alright, I guess. Wasn't terrible. It was weird on the feet stuff. Honestly, the athlete's foot stuff, kind of weird. And yeah. Then the other segment was Einstein's Adventure, which that was just basically about Einstein going to fucking Australia in the 1700s, and apparently it was a prison fucking country for the British and shit. And he takes these robbers with him. This is all while Doc is trying to get stuff for the DeLorean and everything, and he comes back with the robbers after they get caught and takes them back to jail. And then Doc basically says, oh, well, the mileage is terrible on this thing because the tank is on empty. So he says doesn't have any recollection of how that could even happen, even though he just filled it up. So, I mean, it's a kid show. It's whatever. But, yeah, that means we are now finished with the first disc of this box set. and we'll get on to the last 6 episodes of season 1, and there will be 13 episodes left. So let's go ahead and get to the second disc out of 4 in this box set right about now. Alrighty, on to disc 2 of season 1 of Back to the Future, the series. This episode was episode 8, Batter Up. It was about Marty sitting there and pretty much fucking helping his distant cousin win a baseball game that he fucked up years ago. And yeah, that was basically it. They had a guest star appearance from Brett Butler from the Los Angeles Dodgers in this episode. So that was something, but this episode wasn't as cursed as most. It was kind of... I'm not really I'm fine with going to like a regular baseball game. I went to a Cardinals game before or whatever, but I'm not a big fan of just like watching baseball in general. So baseball is just not really interesting to me, like as interesting as a lot of the other things. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of just... This was kind of just like a whatever episode, I guess. But yeah, that was Batter Up, and fucking hell, it was whatever. There wasn't really much Doc in this episode, so it was like a Marty based episode, so it's a little weird. But yeah, fucking on that note, let's go ahead and get to episode 9, Solar Sailors. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty, Back to the Future, the series, season 1, episode 9, Solar Sailors. This was about fucking Doc's kids getting Doc and Clara anniversary presents, and fucking one of them gets Doc and Clara like this typewriter that could like get a newspaper from the future and the past and whatever. It's like a time machine printer, basically, like typewriter thing. And he gets them a trip to Mars, and basically they go to Mars, but they find out that fucking Doc's kids find out that fucking it's gonna go, and like the Mars ship or whatever is gonna go flying into space or whatever. So they have to figure out, like, go to the future and figure out basically how to fix it, basically. And they do. It's not really much of how they fix it, but I mean, it's still cursed to see what they think 2091 is gonna look like. But yeah, fucking they fix it. All's well that ends well, and that was basically the episode. It was alright, I enjoyed it, but on that note, let's go ahead and get to the 10th episode, Dickens of a Christmas. A Christmas episode, let's go. See if it's like gonna be a yearly tradition for me to watch this at Christmas. But yeah, let's get to it. Alrighty, Back to the Future, the series, episode number 10 of season 1, Dickens of a Christmas. This was a Christmas special, where basically Doc, Marty, Clara, Fern, and Ein, and Jules go back to 1845 London to celebrate Christmas in July, and fucking basically they sit there and Doc gives Jules the keys to the DeLorean to hold on to, but he loses it to a pickpocket. He then befriends that pickpocket and everything, and in the end they, get the keys back, obviously, because of the help from the pickpocket. And then Clara is sent to jail by Ebenezer Tannen, but Marty decides to parody the fucking A Christmas Carol, and basically tries to be a ghost of Christmas, past, present, and future, but he's, or is it, It's a Wonderful Life? I don't know. I think it's either one. It's either It's a Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol. Either one, it's still something. One of those two. Could be both. Who fucking knows? I haven't seen those movies in a bit. But nonetheless, fucking basically he does that to get Clara out of the jail, but it works for a little bit, and then they celebrate Christmas and everything, and the pickpocket goes and lives with the toy shop people who also were in the jail with Clara and everything. It was an alright episode. Like, I didn't think it was terrible. Christmas episodes go, as some that I've reviewed, this goes up there in, like, the handful that were actually good. And that's including all of fucking goddamn Santa Inc. Because that shit was just awful. But, yeah. So, on that note, let us go ahead and get to episode 11 of season 1. We're almost done with season 1. We have 3 more episodes of season 1 and everything. So, once we get to that, we get to that. But let's go ahead and get to episode 11, Gone Fishing. Or Fishin', I should say. So, let's go ahead and get to it right about now. Alrighty, season 1, episode number 11 of Back to the Future, the series, Gone Fishing'. This episode was about Fern and Jules wanting to go fishing with Doc, but Doc has a fear of fishing because of what happened in his past. So Jules, Fern, and Marty go back in time to fix his past and everything. That way they can go fishing. But they end up changing basically Doc's past by making him a daredevil. And he's like a movie star, like Hollywood actor, daredevil stuntman. Basically, for a little bit as a kid and everything. And they're trying to get it to where he goes back and just fishes so he could do, what he's meant to do. And, have Fern and Jules and everything. But it takes a while. They finally get it to where, like, Doc almost dies. Like, kid Doc almost dies. And, basically, the fact that he didn't die made it to where his uncle, who was taking care of him at the time, realized that this situation wasn't good for Doc. So, basically, takes him back to Milwaukee and they go fishing. And that's the end of the episode. Because then Fern, Jules, and Doc go fishing in the future once they get back. So that was basically the episode. It was pretty okay. There's 2 more this season left. So we're almost done with this season. And then I will do... You'll see my ranking, obviously. But, yeah. So, on that note, let's go ahead and get to the next episode. Episode number 12. And, yeah. Let's get to it. Alrighty, Season 1, Episode number 12 of Back to the Future, the series. Retired is what this episode was called. This episode was about Doc basically thinking, because Jules and Fern basically did some sort of prank, making Doc think that he was losing brain cells and brain capacity and doesn't have the ideas to invent anymore. And basically, it was all just a prank, and Doc got upset and almost left his family because he felt like a burden that he couldn't help. He felt like he couldn't help and everything. So, in the end, the kids tell Doc that it was a prank, and he gets his inspiration back. And honestly, that was basically it. There wasn't too much about this episode. It was alright. I don't think it was the best one of the season, but I think it was alright for the most part. But we are now about to be on the last episode of Season 1. I'm curious how they're going to end this season off. Obviously, it's a kid's show, but I do want to see how a season would end in like a 90s kids show, because I don't really typically watch a lot of 90s kids shows, so this is a new experience for me. So, I'm kind of curious, like, how this last one's gonna go. And I don't know. I'm just curious, honestly. But yeah, so on that note, let's go ahead and get to the season finale of Back to the Future, the series. Episode 13, Claire's Folks, right about now. Alrighty, Season 1, Episode number 13 of Back to the Future, the series, Claire's Folks. This was the season finale of Season 1 of this show. This episode was about Fern wanting to meet his grandfather because he heard that he was the roughest and toughest back in the 1800s and shit. So, kind of just a brag to his school, like classmates and everything, because his classmates were bragging about their relatives. And pretty much they go back to 1850 to take a picture of fucking Clayton, his grandfather. And turns out his grandfather at that time was a bug collector and his grandmother was a actual real hunter and everything. So she was the rough and tough one, basically. And basically they go back in time when they're not together yet, and Marty goes with them, basically. And fucking their grandmother falls in love with Marty, so they have to figure out a way to get her to fall in love with Clayton. So pretty much that was the gist of the episode. Doc comes in to save the day at the end, and then they also sit there and they're at Yellowstone towards the end. But either way, it goes, and the episode goes on, and it's pretty decent. I will say it wasn't too bad. It was better than the last one by far. I don't really remember much of the last one, but yeah, it was an enjoyable episode. Season finale wise, I kind of figured it wasn't going to be something that was big, because it's a kid's show, and season finale, I don't think there's going to be usually a big thing, because the status quo never really changes, obviously. But I do think they had some stakes to it, because it kind of felt like this is the first episode that kind of felt like if they would have turned it into a mini movie, that it would have worked. So it kind of made sense that it was a season finale type thing. But yeah, on that note, that was season 1 of Back to the Future, the series. We are going to take a brief intermission, and we are also going to get to our ranking of season 1. And after the brief intermission, after the ranking, we'll be into season 2 of Back to the Future, the series. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Right about now.
Go water! Unless you've got power!
With Back to the Future, how could you go wrong? Oh yeah, you can fucking go wrong, alright. Like, if I just shat into a bag and wrote Back to the Future on it, that would be the same as this awful piece of shit. It brings my piss to a boil. What a piece of shit.
Well, if I'm gonna disappear into nothing, I might as well bang my mom. Hey, Lorraine, wait up!
Harry, my name's Marty. I'm in a picture. To be contenders.
Since you're new here, I'm gonna cut you a break today. So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Don't need money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love.
Alright, what's up everybody? It is Devin here, back for another intermission on Austin's channel. Today, we have the topic of Back to the Future, and Austin has asked me to go back to the future, or rather, back to the fucking merch, because he wants me to do a cursed merch segment. And oh my god, what I have found is so fucking... It's not as much cursed as it is fucking astronomically expensive. But we'll save the best for last. But in terms of merchandise for this actual show, there's not much. Really, there's only figures for this actual show, so I'll go over the figures first, and then we'll get into the other various things that I found that are cursed and expensive as hell, I will add. So up first we have this NECA Back to the Future, the animated series 6-inch Doc Brown action figure. It costs $11.88. These figures come from backtothefuturestore.com. It looks nothing... I'm assuming it's supposed to be what he looks like in the show, so, but I would say it looks nothing like the one from the movie. Can I ask why there's a fucking ugly-ass dog next to him? I don't remember his dog looking that putrid. Apparently there's only 3 left, so if you really want to grab this, go ahead, I guess. Is his fucking... Oh my god, they made his fucking lab coat part of the articulation, because you could see it. Oh my god. Well, next we have the most cursed of the bunch. We have the NECA Back to the Future animated series action figure of Biff Tannen, who looks like fucking Frankenstein. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this design. He looks kind of like Austin, honestly. You know, I do see quite the resemblance. If you took the glasses from the Doc Brown figure and put them on Biff, that would look exactly like Austin, like, low-key. But anyway, this is also $11.88, and there's also only 3 left. If you want to go own this fucking disgusting figure, you can go and purchase it. And finally, to finish out the series, we have the NECA Back to the Future animated series action figure of Marty McFly, who looks like a fucking child in figure form. I don't know why he looks more like a child in the animated series, but hey, if you're a pedophile, this item might be for you. So keep a lookout. There's only 4 left. So whoever the 4 people is that buy this, just know we caught you in 4K, dog. We got you. But anyway, it looks like it comes with a guitar accessory and a hoverboard accessory. Even though the hoverboard was in the second movie and the guitar was in the first movie, and so I'm not exactly sure what this is supposed to be based off of. I know it's based off the TV series, but I don't know if the TV series is like a different storyline or if it... I don't know, but it's cursed nonetheless. Excuse me. So, there's only 4 left, like I said, so go pick it up. And like I said, if you buy this, then we caught you. But, yeah, so that's the Back to the Future figurines. Now we move on to our good old friends at Redbubble. We all know and love Redbubble on these fucking merch segments. And they got quite the Back to the Future items. Starting off with this Great Scott sticker. And it costs $1.68. So if you got some pocket change to spare, then you can go ahead and get this sticker. I don't know what the fuck you'd put this on. It doesn't say it's a car sticker, so I don't think you could put it on your car, but I guess you could put it on your fucking cup. You could put it on your wall. It doesn't say how big it is, but for $1.68, I don't imagine it's that big, so I don't know if anybody truthfully would really want this, but hey, it's probably the cheapest thing out of any of this shit that we're gonna see today, because my god. Next, we have this stupid ass Marty McFly pull-over sweatshirt. Look at the design. That doesn't even look, it doesn't even have a face. How are you supposed to tell that's Marty McFly? It could just be anybody. Like, oh, you have the fucking vest, sure, but for $47, I'd like a fucking actual picture of Marty McFly. There's t-shirts on Redbubble that had actual pictures of fucking Marty McFly that were half the price. They were half the price of this, and it doesn't even have Marty McFly's face on it. What the fuck are we doing, Redbubble? You couldn't even be bothered? Like, what is this supposed to be some kind of fucking special kind of art design? You couldn't even put the fucking face. I call it fucking laziness, bro. You could spend half the fucking money on an actual picture of fucking Michael J. Fox that got printed on one of these shirts that he probably didn't give fucking Redbubble permission to do that. And, you know, he probably did not give them permission to use his likeness. But they fucking did it anyway, because they're Redbubble and they don't care. But yeah, $47.18 for this fucking lazy, pathetic attempt at a Marty McFly design. So, yeah. Next, we got this weird shit that I found. It's a DeLorean Cheetah sticker for $2.49 because... You know, apparently, you know, a thing that we want to combine now is the DeLorean and fucking animals because, you know, because the DeLorean can get up to 88 miles an hour, even though I'm pretty sure a cheetah can run faster than 88 miles per hour, but fucking, you know, it doesn't even look like anything to do with Back to the Future, but it looks like something you would see in like a demolition derby. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Up next, we got this cringe shit that I found. It's called BRB to the Future, but in the title they had to fucking describe what the fuck BRB meant for the fucking boomers out there. Be Right Back to the Future t-shirt, $20.51. So, if you want to walk around looking like a boomer or a fucking cringelord that doesn't know what BRB means, and they literally have to fucking explain it to you, then this shirt might be for you. And up next, we got quite an expensive item here. A Back to the Future duvet cover for $128.77. It doesn't even say Back to the Future. It's the fucking goddamn destination time settings from inside the DeLorean. So, I suppose, instead of using a fucking alarm clock, you could use your destination time duvet cover that you're probably going to be laying on top of because it's not even a blanket, it's a cover that goes over your fucking mattress. So, fucking, you can rely on your duvet cover to wake you up for work in the morning, I suppose. But it gets even dumber because our next item, not only that, we have a Time Circuits shower curtain for $86 for a cheap plastic shower curtain. So if you couldn't fucking tell the time when you were sleeping, now you'll be able to tell what time and what year you're in and what month and what date while you're taking a fucking shower, even though the design is fucking stupid because when you're in the shower, you're not gonna be able to read it because the text is gonna be fucking backwards. So, you know, oh my lord. Why? Why would anybody want a Time Circuit shower curtain? But it gets worse because now that you have your duvet cover, after you get your shower, if you still can't tell what time it is, then you can pay another $179.66 fucking cents for a Time Circuit comforter. That's right, you can lay on top of your time and put your time on top of you so you could be a fucking Time Circuit sandwich if you want to be fucking sleeping in your goddamn bed, because why not? Then up next, I was just like, why, when I found this? An 80s bath mat for $47.36, but look at the design. Back to the Future before coronavirus. You know damn well that this was fucking made in 2020. There's no way that it wasn't. So if you, for some reason, want to get out of your fucking bath, out of your shower after a long day, and you want to just think about the coronavirus, then this bath mat may be for you. And hey, if it's coming from Redbubble, you might get the coronavirus from this item. So if you want to spend $47 to get COVID, then go right ahead. Go ahead. Not only that, you'll probably get mold on the fucking thing too, because I doubt that this thing is high quality. So you'll probably get mold and mildew with your COVID-19 after you get out of the shower. So, but you know, if that wasn't enough, then you can spread the infection to your children with this 80s kids mask with the same design Back to the Future before the coronavirus. So fucking, this costs $16.16. So after you get your COVID-19 from the shower, the next day when your kids have to go to school, you can get them this COVID mask. Then you can put all the COVID germs inside the mask, and then they can spread it around the school. So thanks, Redbubble. Then up next, you know, once you get to work after you're sleeping and your shower and everything, if you still can't tell what time it is, then you need the Back to the Future laptop skin. Because, you know, that's the number one thing everybody's going to be doing to look at the time on their laptop, looking at the back of their fucking screen. Yeah, definitely. If you want to just know what fucking time, what year you're in, yeah, you just look at the back of your laptop and not on your actual fucking screen. Yeah, and you can pay $31 for this fucking cheap fucking sticker that's probably gonna fucking rip and fucking start probably fucking, it's probably one of those stickers that fucking peels off on the corners over time. So if you really want to spend $31 on that, and if you still cannot tell what time it is, then you can spend $45.65 on the apparently officially licensed, in quotations, Back to the Future October 21st, 2015 DeLorean Numbers laptop sleeve. So you can put your laptop with your time circuit sticker in the officially licensed, quote unquote, Back to the Future laptop bag or laptop sleeve. So yeah, why, you know, just why not? And then, since it is October when I'm recording this, I figured why not? Let's throw some Halloween costumes into the mix, because we got from Halloween Costumes, a plus-size Back to the Future Part 2 Doc Brown costume that, frankly, looks terrible. $69.99, $70 for a Doc Brown costume that looks like it's made of cheap fucking material. But that's not it, because up next we got the adult Back to the Future Jennifer Parker costume. Yeah, the character from Back to the Future who nobody gives a fucking shit about. And they're trying to charge $60 for this lame costume that's literally just a white shirt, a vest, and pink pants. Like, you could literally buy that at like a thrift shop for cheaper, but they want you to pay $59.99 for this costume. And then finally we round it out with the Fun Costumes Back to the Future Marty McFly. And this is the most expensive one at $80. Why? I don't know. You could literally just get a flannel shirt with an orange vest and a pair of blue jeans. You could literally get that at any clothing store. So I don't know why they're trying to charge $79.99 for a fucking Marty McFly costume. You could honestly probably get cheaper options at Spirit Halloween, and Spirit Halloween is known for being expensive. So yeah, fucking. Then we start getting into the just what items, because up next we got the Back to the Future DeLorean key replica. Because if you're that much of a Back to the Future neckbeard, I guess you need a key replica from the movie. It costs $16.95. That's in euros. I'm not sure what the US translation is, but yeah. Up next, we got the 2015 Back to the Future Marty McFly hat, and they're trying to charge $17 for this fucking hat that looks like it's cheaply made. I've literally seen this hat at my local mall at like fucking Hot Topic before. I've literally seen this hat and they were not charging this much. So I don't know why they're trying to charge this much, but apparently fucking it says here, no one calls you chicken. No, but they'll call you a fucking dumbass if you pay $17 for this hat. I'll tell you that much. Then we get one of the dumber items. This is a Back to the Future time travel memories kit. And I was looking in the description, it's literally just a metal fucking box that just has a few, like, little tidbits from the movie in it, like a few, like, pictures and stuff. And they're really trying to charge $70 for this on Amazon. Like, it's literally a metal box. It's like a fucking metal lunchbox. Like, $70 for a metal box with a few pictures from the movie in it. Like, how much of a Back to the Future fucking fanboy do you have to be to spend $70 on a time travel memories kit? Like, what the actual fuck? Hey, but, you know, at least you get free delivery, I suppose. And free returns, because, you know, once you get the fucking thing and you realize, hey, this fucking is fucking stupid, you can send it back. So, at least there's that option. Then we start to get in the questionably, astronomically expensive items. And you might say this one's expensive, but trust me, I found something far more expensive. We have, from Factory Entertainment, the official Back to the Future Flux Capacitor Christopher Lloyd Signature Edition prop replica, which comes to an estimated total of $1,625.39. So if you really want an actual prop of a flux capacitor, if you're that much of a fucking fanboy, you could spend $1,600 on a fucking, obviously it looks like it's fucking plastic, fucking flux capacitor that doesn't actually work. So if you really want to waste that much money, then you can order that from fucking Factory Entertainment. And apparently it has 30-day returns. So once you get your flux capacitor, if you can't figure out after 30 days if the fucking thing really works or not, because it obviously doesn't, because it's a prop, you could send it back. Then we have probably the absolute craziest fucking thing that I have found for this segment. We have the Nike, I don't know why they say it twice here, the Nike Mag Back to the Future gray men's size 11 shoes. These are literally just Nike shoes. These shoes cost a total, this is the most expensive item I've ever fucking found, a grand total of $20,982.83. So if you somehow are this big of a fan of fucking Back to the Future, if you are this big of a neckbeard, if you have this little of a fucking life and this much money to waste, you can spend $20,000 $20,000 on a pair of shoes that are supposed to be, I'm assuming they're supposed to be based off of the self-lacing shoes from Back to the Future 2. And apparently, this has 2 user reviews. Now, I have to fucking look at this because there's just no way that this has 2 user reviews. Hold on. What are these user reviews? Okay, so I'll screenshot these user reviews so Austin can put this in. So we have Melme8812, who apparently dropped 20 grand on this, says, like that. An amazing shoe, a beautiful, tremendous pair, could be $10,000 cheaper, but still fabulous. Really, could be $10,000 cheaper. You still would have paid $10,000 for a pair of fucking shoes. And then the other review that we have here is from Andre Youngster, or Andre, whatever, just let's say Andre 2012. Supper, I think he meant super and spelled it wrong, and then put something that's not in English, so I can't fucking read it. But yeah, apparently 2 people fucking dropped 20 grand for a pair of Back to the Future shoes. If you legitimately buy this, you have no life. If you literally buy this, like, you are sad, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. I've seen people spend like $200, $300, $400 on a pair of shoes. I've seen people spend $2,000 on a pair of shoes. $20,000 for a pair of shoes? They're not even signed. They're not even fucking licensed by the movie. They're just Nikes. They're not even signed. What value? You couldn't resell these, bro. You could not resell these. And it's actually almost $21,000 because you have to pay almost $15 for a delivery fee. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? And it's originally supposed to be $19,000, but they're gonna charge you $1,500 worth of tax. Like, dog, who's actually gonna fucking purchase these? Get the fuck out of here. But that's not it, because we have another expensive item from Amazon. We have the Iron Studios Back to the Future 2 DeLorean statue, and it costs a whopping $1,800 for a fucking statue of the DeLorean, literally just a fucking statue of the car. I've literally seen the Back to the Future DeLorean at Walmart for like $30. So if you were that insane that you would spend $1,799.99 fucking cents on a fucking statue of a toy car, then be my guest. And then finally, our final item on this cursed merch segment, we have a Back to the Future 2 original poster, $999 for a fucking poster. Mind you, I have seen the Back to the Future Part 2 poster at Walmart. You know those, like, things at Walmart that's like the rack where you can look at all the posters? I have seen this poster at Walmart, and I have seen that it only costs literally like fucking $10 to $15. So don't you dare try to tell me that this is worth $1,000, because I've literally seen this at Walmart. I've literally seen other Back to the Future posters. So if you like to spend that much on an actual poster from the movie, you have to be such a fucking fanboy. And I know Austin is that level of fucking fanboy, because he fucking marks out over Back to the Future. But like, Jesus Christ, Austin, would you spend $1,000 on a poster? Would you spend $1,800 on a toy car? Would you spend $1,500 on a flux capacitor to put in your fucking car? Would you spend $20,000 on a pair of shoes from Back to the Future Part 2, Austin? I wouldn't, and nobody else should either, but apparently people did. So, yeah, that is the cursed Back to the Future merch. Jesus fucking Christ. I love the movies, but fucking hell, the fans are absolutely insane if they're trying to charge this much for these items. And Austin is insane. He's just generally insane. But anyway, with that being said, that has been my cursed merch segment. So, with that being said, we're gonna go back to the future, or rather, into the future, so Austin can get to the rest of this shit show. I am sure of that. But, yeah, this was absolutely fucking cursed. And I will leave you with this. fucking said, he said, fucking roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. More like, we don't need fucking money in our fucking bank account after spending $20,000 on a pair of fucking shoes. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, who's actually gonna do that? But, give me 1 second here. I need to play something here. Because, fucking, this is fucking, of course I'm getting an ad. Oh, it's an ad for Subway. So, you know, for all the people who bought the fucking Marty McFly fucking child figure, you can also get some Subway. Alright, I have found it. So, this is my reaction to seeing all of these fucking astronomical prices, especially when I saw that those shoes cost $20,000. This is my reaction to that.
Great Scott.
So, there you go. I will leave you with that. But thank you for watching this merch segment, and let's go back to the future, into the future, with Austin Tron 5000.
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Alrighty, Season 2, Episode number 1 of Back to the Future, the animated series. This episode was called Mac the Black, and we're starting off this season without any Biff Tannen stuff. I'm shocked. It's the first episode of this series without any sign of Biff, like, at all. Not even, like, there was a running gag the first 13 episodes of, like the first season, where after every episode, after the credits, there would be a Biff joke. But there wasn't even one on Season 2. The first episode of Season 2. So, there's that. But it was about fucking Marty and Vern going back to the Caribbean, because, like, back in time to the Caribbean to get Vern an earring. That's what he wants, of course. But Marty goes along, and basically Marty is trying to find a new girlfriend or whatever, because he lied to Jennifer like a dumbass multiple times, and basically fucking Jennifer got mad at him, so he's trying to find a new girlfriend, and he decides to tell everybody that he's Mac the Black, a famous pirate and everything, but they find out he's not Mac the Black, and basically Mac the Black tries to chase him down. And then there was this cursed scene where Marty dresses up in drag, and it's so cursed, and then Mac the Black wants to marry Marty. It's so cursed. It doesn't last too long. But then Mac the Black gets captured and everything, and they go back to the future, and that was the episode. That was really it, honestly. Fucking, I don't know, like, it was an alright opener. It was just weird, because there was no, like, Biff relation, like, Biff Tannen relation. There was barely any Doc, and everything, like, in the cartoon portion, and everything. I don't know, it was really weird. Also, at the beginning, like, skit, Doc was on this boat called the SS Clara, and he was on this terrible looking green screen. So there's that. That was cursed as well. But yeah, I don't know. It was alright, but yeah, I don't know. We'll go ahead and get to the next episode 2 of Season 2. Put on your thinking cap, kids. It's time for Mr. Wisdom. Okay. That's a weird ass fucking title, but let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty, Season 2, Episode number 2 of Back to the Future, the series. Put on your thinking caps. Kids, it's time for Mr. Wisdom, this long-ass fucking title. I forgot to mention in the last episode, the theme song, like the intro sequence changed a little bit. Like, the theme song is still the same, but fucking, like, the stuff on screen has changed a lot. So it's just like, it's like clips from the last season. That's kind of cool, or whatever. But this episode was about this TV host, basically. He looks like Kyle. He kind of looks like Kyle a lot. But, this TV host and shit, and basically, he's an old roommate of Doc, and basically, he stole one of Doc's inventions back in the day, and Doc couldn't remember that for the longest time until he actually saw Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom looks so fucking ugly. I'm just saying, like, he looks fucking terrible. But yeah, so that was that. I mean, they did like a talent show type thing, or an invention contest or whatever, to get Mr. Wisdom to where he wasn't a fucking dickhead no more, pretty much. So, yeah, so that was basically the episode. And now we get on to episode 3 of season 2, but still no Biff sightings anywhere. I see Biff in the 3rd episode frame, so I assume he's in there, but it's weird for 2 episodes back to back. No Biff Tannen, no even Tannen relation or anything. It's really weird, honestly, but yeah, fucking next is season 2, episode 3, A Friend Indeed. It looks cursed by the picture, so not as cursed as the last one, but you know what I mean. Fucking cursed in general, honestly. But on that note, let's go ahead and get to season 2, episode 3, A Friend Indeed, right about now. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 3 of Back to the Future, the series, A Friend Indeed. This episode was so cursed. Biff is back, and I guess Jennifer's grandparents, basically they have this ranch, and I guess Biff finds a deed when trying to dig up a pool in his house, like in the backyard of his house, and he finds a deed to that ranch that his ancestors, like, owned, basically. So they own the ranch or whatever. So Marty goes back in time to fucking basically get it to where the ranch is not owned by Biff. And it's so cursed, because I will say Biff has a kid in this show, apparently, just called Biff Jr., and it's like, why? Why, bro? It's so cursed. But fucking after that, fucking they actually, like, get the deed back by using Marty's practical jokes. They use an invisible ink pen. It was so fucking cursed, dog. It was just so fucking cursed. And I just can't believe how fucking cursed it was. But yeah, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, even though it was fucking cursed. But on that note, let's go ahead and get to episode 4 of season 2, Marty McFly PFC, right about now. Alrighty, fucking, it's Back to the Future, the series, season 2, episode number 4. If I sound tired, it's because I'm tired in general. But I am pushing through. This episode was called Marty McFly PFC, and it was about Vern trying to get the blueprints to Doc's fucking dancing shoes, but they're all the way back in 1945. And all sorts of hijinks ensue. Marty almost joins the army with World War II and shit. And yeah, it's cursed. A lot of the character designs in this episode was really cursed, especially the fucking people that they meet are really fucking cursed. Like the drill sergeant and shit. So, yeah, fucking, this episode was okay, but cursed. Basically, I don't really have much to say about it, honestly. It was just alright, for the most part. But, I mean, with that being said, the next episode is called Vern's New Friend. Fucking, hopefully it's good, and yeah, let's go ahead and get to the next one. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 5 of Back to the Future, the series, Vern's New Friend. This episode started off with fucking Vern and his friends playing baseball and shit. And then these girls sit there and basically challenge him, and they do better at baseball. So Vern gets angry, and then he meets this person called Chris, named Chris and everything, and they hit it off, and they're having fun. They like share a comic book and everything like that, just normal kid things. And then they get a poster for the circus that like was defunct in like 1933. So Vern and Chris go to 1933 along with Marty. And basically, they get thrown into the circus, and in the mix of being thrown into the circus, Vern finds out that Chris is a girl, and he's mad at that because of cooties. And then he gets over it pretty fast when they get back to the future. But yeah, that was kind of it. It wasn't really much of an episode. Again, like, we're getting to the point where the episodes are just kind of okay, honestly. But, yeah. So, next we have Brave Lord and the Demon Monstrux. I don't know, it looks like some He-Man shit, so I have no fucking clue, honestly. But we're gonna see how it is. Fucking, I don't know, I'm enjoying the show, but it's almost over. Like, we have 8 more episodes, and it's just like, oh, well, damn. So, we're like on the final stretch, so that's kind of where I'm at here, but yeah, let's go ahead and get to episode 6 of season 2. It looks like it's going to be cursed, so, but yeah, let's get on to the next one. Alrighty, Back to the Future, the series, season 2, episode 6, fucking Brave Lord and the Demon Monstrux. It was cursed. It was like this, the Brave Lord character and the Monstrux character that fucking Vern plays on his arcade basically gets sucked into the real world, and Doc gets sucked into the video game. So it's like, it's cursed. But like the Brave Lord character, it looks like it's like a mix of He-Man and like Arnold Schwarzenegger's version of fucking Conan the Barbarian. So that's just lovely and fucking cursed as always. And then the Monstrux character, I guess, can like turn like inanimate objects into fucking creatures. So he does that to Biff's entire house and takes Biff and his son like hostage, basically. Which, by the way, this is only the second appearance of Biff's son. There is 7 more episodes left, and if he doesn't show up anymore, that's gonna kind of be a fucking missed opportunity, I feel, honestly. But yeah, it was just a cursed ass episode. Fucking Clara gets into video games after grounding Vern from playing video games for so long that he wasn't doing his chores. So that was the cursed part of that, about that. I don't know. It was just a really fucking cursed episode, honestly. Fucking hell. Like, I don't really know what else to say besides the fact that it was cursed. Like, there was a lot of just cursed imagery. It kind of reminded me, this episode kind of just reminds me of like Dragon's Lair in general, by the way they were doing like the other stuff too. So that's just another cursed thing about it. It reminds me of fucking Don Bluth's Dragon's Lair. Fucking hell. Cursed ass fucking game with a cursed ass episode. I really enjoyed it though. It was good. It was really good. But yeah, on that note, let's get to the next episode, episode 7 of season 2, The Money Tree, right about now. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 7 of Back to the Future, the series, The Money Tree. Yeah, this one was kind of boring, I'm not even gonna lie. It was about fucking Jules becoming popular because he invents a money tree, and it going to his head because he's popular now, and everybody likes him and shit. He even goes through to Doc and Clara's head. So, yeah, that was the episode. By the end, he doesn't have his money tree anymore. Biff takes it, and then it backfires on Biff. Oh, Biff's son was in this episode again, so there's that. But it backfires on Biff, and then Jules gains one friend from it. So, lovely. But, yeah, that was really the episode. I don't really know what else to say about it, because there really wasn't too much about it besides that. So I don't know, man. It was okay. I didn't fucking mind it. Just, it was really boring. It was probably bottom so far of the list. It's just not really whatever. It's really, really boring. But we will go ahead and get to disc 2 of the season 2 episodes. We are finally done with disc 1 of season 2. God, this season has been taking a lot longer than the first season, because I've had other stuff to do. But, yeah, so we're almost done with this show. We got 6 more episodes. Almost done. Kind of ready to be done. But, yeah, fucking, I am, excited, to say the least, about getting to the second disc of season 2 and then finishing it off and being done with this, because I've been working on it for longer than I've wanted to. So, yeah, I've been enjoying it, but working on it longer than I've wanted to. So, on that note, let's go ahead and get to disc 2 and season 2, episode 8 of Back to the Future, the series. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 8 of Back to the Future, the series, A Vern by Any Other Name. This episode was legitimately just about Vern not liking his name, and he gets pissed off at his parents because they named him Vern. And basically, pretty much, like, this entire episode is Vern and Marty going back in time to when Vern was about to be born, and trying to change his name to something cooler. And it doesn't work out because fucking Doc and Clara get into a fight. And then Clara's about to have Vern. And then older Vern has to fucking get Doc after the fight because Doc stormed off. And because Vern's about to be born, it's so, like, time paradoxy, kind of like, in that way, it's cursed. So, at the end of the day, the baby's named Vern. So it's whatever. And then Vern goes back to the future, and that's legitimately it. Dog, legitimately, that's it. I don't know, honestly, what else to say. We have 5 more episodes of this show left, so I don't know. Yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 9 of Back to the Future, the series, Hill Valley Brownout. That sounds like a weird ass fucking title. This episode was basically about, like, the family working on stuff for Founders Day, and Doc was working on an invention, but Doc then fucks up that invention and gets kicked out. So he goes over to Marty's to finish the invention, and he ends up fucking taking all the power out of the city. So, yeah, that's basically what fucking happened there. And then he then sits there and fixes the power, but then the power doesn't turn off, and then Biff tries to destroy the power, and it's all fucky, pretty much. It wasn't really much of an episode, honestly. Like, I don't really have much to say about it. I don't know. Fucking, this one was kind of meh, honestly. Probably lower on the list of the season and everything. But we do have fucking 4 more episodes. So thank God. 4 more episodes of the show, and we're almost done. Like, I'm enjoying the show, don't get me wrong, but like, I'm ready for this video to be done. Man. But yeah, so the next episode is episode 10 of season 10, or season 2, episode 10 of season 2, My Pop's an Alien. So that's the next one we're gonna get to, and yeah, so we'll get to that in about right now. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 10 of Back to the Future, the series, My Pop's an Alien. This episode was about Biff remembering a time where he met an alien who he thought was just Doc, pretty much, and so he tries to get fucking Doc basically killed, and then Marty, Vern, and Jules go back in time all the way to 1967 to basically prevent Biff from finding out about aliens and shit. But then, in turn doing that, they just scare him with the aliens and whatever. So, there's that. There was a joke in here about the Marty saying, yeah, and I look like Michael J. Fox, Hollywood actor. So, that was kind of funny. And then Vern mentioned that he does kind of look like Michael J. Fox, so that was kind of funny. And this episode was alright. I enjoyed it. Fucking next we got episode 11. It's called Super Doc. It looks like some Superman shit. So yeah, that's what it's looking like. But yeah, fucking, let's go ahead and get to that. We got 3 episodes left, so let's just go right ahead and get to that right about now. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 11 of Back to the Future, the series. This episode was called Super Doc. It was cursed, because why do all of these shows that I review, whether it's that 70s show, that 90s show, what have to have wrestling episodes, damn it. Oh, this fucking, it had a wrestling, apparently fucking Doc Brown, before he focused on science, focused more on professional wrestling. Not joking, why the fuck? Why? Oh, it's cursed. That's beyond fucking cursed. But yeah, fucking incredibly fucking cursed. So he gets these rocket boots from Vern and Jules when they go back in time to see him wrestle or whatever. And then he turns into this like fucking like possessed fucking superhero type deal. And it's just that for the rest of the episode. This episode is just so fucking cursed, dude. I don't know what to say. I straight up don't know what to say at this point. Like, why? Like, why was it so cursed? Like, why? Oh, well, that was basically, like, the moral of the story is fucking Doc needed to stick to science anyway, which obviously, obviously, but fucking, like, we're so close to being done. There's 2 more episodes. The next episode is episode 12, and it's called St. Louis Blues. So hopefully that is a good one. There's 2 more left. I'm just hoping to God that these will be good and shit. But yeah, fucking cursed ass episode. I don't even know anymore, dude. On to the next one. Alrighty, season 2, episode number 12 of Back to the Future, the series. This episode was called St. Louis Blues. I don't even know how to really explain this episode, so honestly, like, I don't know, because it legit was about Marty fucking up again with Jen, and then get it using one of Doc's, like, hair cutting, like, inventions, and it fucks his hair up to where, like, his hair keeps, like, forming into different haircuts. Like, I'm not joking. And then he goes back in time to meet with Doc, because Doc and Clara are at this, like, old-timey fucking, like, deal that they're doing, like, at this date type thing, and they're doing old-timey and, like, I don't even know what fucking time period. I think it was, like, fucking 1904 or something, I'm pretty sure. And fucking, like, it's just, he goes back and then he gets captured and he's like a circus, like, he's like put in a circus by Biff, like, not Biff, but a Tannen, because of course he does, and then he gets saved by Doc, Clara, Vern, and Jules. So, I mean, and by the end of it, he learns, like, that he shouldn't have been a dickhead to Jen. Like, that's legit the whole moral of the story. Like, it was just cursed. Like, I don't even know. See, the thing is, I don't know if they were in, like, when it says St. Louis, I don't know if they were in just St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know if that was the place that they were in, so that's why I thought it was cursed. But they didn't really specify what St. Louis it was, so that was also cursed. But who fucking knows, honestly? Like, deadass. Like, I don't know. Fucking, I don't know. Fucking next, we have the last episode of the entire series. Fucking episode 13 of season 2, Vern hatches an egg. So hopefully that will be like a a good episode to end this video off on, hopefully at least. But on that note, let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty, Season 2, Episode number 13 of Back to the Future, the series. The final episode of Back to the Future, the series, Vern Hatches an Egg, is what this episode was called. Basically, it was about Vern looking for something to show at Show and Tell. Yeah, he gets an arrowhead from his father, but then Biff Jr. steals it. So then he has to find something, or he's going to have to star in a play. That's what the circumstances was. So he grabs a dinosaur egg from the prehistoric times, and then the egg hatches into a dinosaur in present day. And he loses the dinosaur, and Biff takes it and tries to get $50,000 for it. So that's legit it. And then the dinosaur spits out a tooth that Vern could use for the show and tell, and they take the dinosaur back after they rescue it from Biff and shit. So yeah, we got an appearance from Mr. Wisdom in this episode, because why not? Fucking hell. But this episode was cursed as all hell, and it's the final episode of the series. Jesus Christ. Holy hell. Finally done watching every episode. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the ranking and then the conclusion. So, on to that right about now. Alright, conclusion time. Fucking hell, this show was cursed at times, but it was also a fun experience to watch through for the first time. I really enjoyed the Saturday morning cartoon feel. I enjoyed the segments with Bill Nye. The live action segments were cool. I didn't talk too much about them usually, but because that was not really the main point of the show. That was just to introduce the story of the episode usually, typically. So typically that's why I didn't fucking really talk about the live action segments too much. But they were all enjoyable. Christopher Lloyd obviously reprised his role for the live action parts and everything, so that was always a good thing. And then of course the Bill Nye stuff, like I said, the Bill Nye experiments, that was cool. And yeah, it was a fun show to watch, even though it was cursed at times. God damn, it's cursed. The animation's really fucking cursed at times. The fucking stories are really fucking cursed at times, but overall, I think it was a good experience. I don't know whether or not I would pop this in, just to watch it in general, every year, I do the movies, because I feel like the movies are just very, you know, they got a special place in my heart. That's why I do it every year and watch Back to the Future every year. At least the trilogy. And so this was a cool experience, because now I'm probably going to be Back to the Future out by the end of the year, now that I think about it, because I'm recording this in October. I started recording this on September 25th. It is now October 16th. And truthfully, I feel as if by the time I get to Thanksgiving, after I watch the trilogy, I'm definitely going to be Back to the Future out for the year, which is something. But I will say, like, I had fun doing this. I had fun doing these episodes. It was a more positive ranking video, you know, with like my Nutsack video that was so negative. Did that in one day. Terrible. Like, by That 70 Show, that was a positive ranking, but then you got stuff like Santa Inc. and fucking 13 Reasons Why, and just all the other fuck shit that I've reviewed. It's good to see, like, an actual fucking, like, not a bad show, like, every once in a while, because I review so much bad that when reviewing stuff that's good, it's a breath of fresh air, and I really have enjoyed this experience of watching this show. I definitely recommend the show if you haven't watched it, if you just want to watch something like a Saturday morning cartoon, kind of like to bring your nostalgia back to, like, back in the day. But, like, in terms of watching it just whenever, I don't know. That's just me personally, but this was a very good experience, and I'm excited for this video to be edited and done and come out on Thanksgiving and everything when I'm watching the trilogy. Yeah, so, oh, fucking hell, this show. Man, I don't really know what else there is to really say. It's difficult to kind of put this in words because I just kind of finished the 13th episode and the review of that, so I'm just trying to kind of gather my thoughts a little bit, and I don't know. I do think that this show is worth owning. It's hard to own, I'll tell you that, because you have to either... What I did was I got a present from my mom, fucking, of the Back to the Future, the complete set. And it included the trilogy and these two fucking seasons. But apparently you could get the two seasons separately on different DVD sets, like season by season. But also, like, the whole series is on archive.org too. So it's like I don't really know what, honestly. I haven't really checked out it, like, when the series is on archive.org, I haven't checked that out or whatever. But if it's like it has the full segments and everything, but I would assume it does. But it's, nonetheless, I'm glad I own it on DVD and shit. This was a fun watch though. So with that being said, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying your Thanksgiving with your family and enjoying life in general. I am thankful for this show, this review, and I am thankful for everybody that watches my videos, and my family and friends, fucking animals, all that. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Peace.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alrighty, what is up, my artists? Fucking happy early Thanksgiving. I've done this before for the Barbenheimer. I figured I would do it for this because this is such an occasion for me. I am seeing Back to the Future, the first film, in theaters for the first time. For a nerd like me, that is a fucking really cool experience. I am recording this video to document my experience because I've never seen Back to the Future in theater before. I've seen it many, many times on my TV and everything, but the theater experience, as you guys know, is completely different from the experience at home. I'm seeing it in IMAX, and it's for the 40th anniversary. I'm really excited. I want to document basically my thoughts on how my theater experience is going to go with this film. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I will see you once I get done with the movie here in a bit. Alright, I just got out of the theater from watching fucking Back to the Future in IMAX. I am going to give my experience, like I said in the intro. Fucking hell, it was great. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've watched this movie so many times over the years, but not like this. It was cool to actually see it on the big screen for the first time, because obviously I wasn't born fucking when it came out in theaters originally. But so I went in, and basically I went in and got my drink. I was gonna get the 40th anniversary cup because I had bought the DeLorean popcorn bucket in advance because I didn't know if those were gonna sell out or not. They actually didn't, surprisingly, but I fucking sat there and I was going to get the cup and everything, but I didn't have the cup there, so I digress. I didn't get the cup. It's fine. I get in the theater. It's an IMAX theater, so of course I've been to IMAX theaters before for fucking Oppenheimer and goddamn fucking Sinners. I watched in IMAX as well. So seeing this in IMAX, great experience, like I said. The whole theater was packed. I haven't seen an IMAX theater that packed since Oppenheimer, because if I'm being honest, it wasn't packed for Sinners or fucking... I did see Fantastic Four in IMAX as well, and it was not as packed, you know. So seeing it that packed really kind of brought joy to me a little bit, because, like, I wasn't expecting it to be as packed, if I'm being honest. Because, not because of the movie, because the movie's great. It's just, I didn't think a lot of people were going to go to the 40th anniversary, like, thing. And I'm glad people did, because that helped the experience. Fucking, there were people, like, clapped at the end. It was just a great experience. Hearing Power of Love fucking on the big screen is a real fucking, like, cool moment for me, because I love that song because of the movie, but fucking, like, it's just, it's a different feeling hearing it in the surround sound of a theater and everything. It's great. It was actually great, and actually, like, it was really fun for me to experience this. And I'm glad I did. I should have did Back to the Future 2 last year, because there was showings for it last year for Back to the Future 2 for the 35th anniversary of Back to the Future Part 2. Hopefully, maybe for the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future Part 2, maybe they'll do a screening like this, hopefully. Because I would like to see the other two in theaters as well. But I'm glad that I was able to see the first one in theaters at least, because it's one of my favorites. I still like 2. 3, I like, but I don't like it as much as 1 and 2. But honestly, like, this experience for me was great. It's probably the best theater experience I've had since, I want to say, Avengers Endgame. Not saying my other theater experiences aren't good. It's just, in terms of, like, just pure enjoyment and happiness during the theater. Oh, no, I did have this I had this in No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home, I had that as well. So, in terms of, like, pure enjoyment in the theater, like, of just, like, holy fucking shit, you know? I sound like a fucking nerd. It's because I am a nerd, but I digress, honestly. But yeah, that was my theater experience after fucking the movie ended. Like I said, people were clapping, I clapped, and then I watched the credits, and then I went on and left the theater. It was a very cool experience for me. I'm hoping, like I said, to see the other two eventually in the theater, because that would be sick, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that was your annual Back to the Future video for the year. Fucking, I always do it around Thanksgiving, whether it be a review or what have you. But yeah, fucking, with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you guys for watching my experience seeing Back to the Future in IMAX at the AMC. Yeah, I had a great time, and that's all I really have to say. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and that's the power of love.